it's smart to prepare for events that could happen in the future. However, it's not solely the executive branch's authority to be doing this, and executive orders are not the way to go about doing this stuff. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, this what they're talking about doing. I mean, when you talk about funding localities and opening up different lines of funding, that's legislative. That's not executive. And I mean, yes, there's some executive functions here. He assigns responsibility to different branches or different cabinet level positions. And that's all well and good. But he's mixing the two together, and you're not supposed to do that. So, I mean, a lot remains to be seen. And folks, pay attention to what's going on both at the whitehouse.gov and with the Congress, because, I mean, you're just looking at continual usurpations of the Constitution. And the Constitution, the only way that it has any power is if we give it the power, the people. Now, on to the next topic, and the final topic of the evening is an Intel Hub article, Sheriff Arpaio, a media conspiracy bigger than Watergate. My Obama investigation was covered up. And all I have to say to that, boys, and please feel free to chime in, is welcome to the club, Sheriff Arpaio.
Yeah. Oh, I'm being ignored. I'm not picking on him or anything, but for real,
No.
why is it when we all get censored or ignored or thrown under the bus, no one cares, we're just some stupid blogger. But as soon as it's some quote unquote official, now there's a federal case made out of it.
That's right. That's right. So the article starts off by saying, this could be one of the most detrimental issues the country is facing as the POTUS, President of the United States, cannot even pass an E-Verify check. Yet, Barack H. Obama is in control of our nation's nuclear arsenal. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. Here is a sitting president, where Sheriff Arpaio and his cold case posse goes and investigates the authenticity of the long-form birth certificate that the president and the White House put forward to prove that he is a natural-born citizen. Now, that was found out to be a total and complete fabrication, and a bad one at that. I mean, anybody that knows anything about basic Photoshop just knows that that was a total flubbing. But my question to you is this, Sheriff Arpaio aside, guys, why is the focus on this birth certificate when Obama's father is not American? So my thing is he's not a natural born citizen. His father was not born in the United States, nor was he a citizen, was he?
A citizen of what, Kenya? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, he was
And
a
by the
super.
way, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, okay, Michelle Obama is on record as saying it. In fact, I will find the audio and I will play it really quick. She says, she admits that Barack was born in Kenya.
Yeah, and you know what, dude? It's sad. It's sad that a
But I'm
professional.
racist because the first lady says it.
It's sad that a
Talk about his
professional.
homeland.
Yeah, it's sad like a professional like Sheriff Arpaio goes out, he does the research, backs it up. Now, this is a person, another person that's taken an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and he's doing his duty based on what the citizens in his locality petitioned him to do. And so he's doing it. But, he comes out and says that this media conspiracy is bigger than Watergate and is purposefully downplaying his volunteer posse's investigation of the birth certificate. And, he's surprised by this. And it's funny. He says, quote, the media all came to make fun of me. The sheriff said of his birther press conference, quote, I'm a little concerned that all of their questions were zeroed in on credibility and that this has been rehashed. They didn't even ask about the proof of the case. They didn't ask about the facts that we had. Of course, because the press is more concerned about talking points and about propaganda. They don't care about getting the real news out.
Well, here,
And
you want
it's
to hear her admit it? This
by all
was
means, yeah,
this
this
was
is
her
Michelle
speaking.
Obama.
This is the First Lady Michelle Obama speaking at an LGBT conference, and she was talking about it's a rather long speech. This is just a little snippet from it, and she was talking about gay rights and the stigma of HIV testing, which there is a stigma against people that quote unquote have AIDS. But I think you should go look up a good friend of mine, his work, Steve Starr's AIDS, the AIDS fraud. It's I think it's AIDS Fraud Video is the website, AIDSFraudVideo.com if I remember correctly, and you need to educate yourself. There's also a bunch of other movies, House and Numbers. Anyway, she was speaking about the stigma of HIV testing and everything, and then she talks about when her and Obama, her and Barack took a trip to Africa. And listen what she says. Now, this is not some conspiracy theorist. This is right out of the mouth of the First Lady of the United States of America speaking at a conference. Okay?
Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public.
Did you hear what she just said? Let me repeat. Let me rewind that just for a second, just in case people didn't hear that. One more time.
When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya.
His home country in Kenya. His home country in Kenya.
That's right.
Am I reading that wrong? Did she not
No,
just say his home country in
that's
Kenya?
right. And now here's the argument, and I'm going to give you the argument that you're going to hear from this. Just to dispel all the trolls and all you people out there that may doubt this, you're going to say, well, you hear quite often when somebody asks, well, what are you? And you say, well, I'm Italian and Irish. And that's what he's talking about is that, he's African, but he's Kenyan, of Kenyan descent. No, that's not what he's saying. That's not what she's saying. And that's the difference. If if anybody asks me, where are you from? I'm from America. Where were you born? America. What are you? I'm American. I mean, I'm of Italian descent, or I'm of Irish descent, or I am of French descent. However, born and raised in America, that makes me 100% American. This was a slip on her part, and a very big one. And Sheriff Arpaio says, quote, I'm not going to drop this, he says. You don't think I did a press conference and let it die? No, I'll make a decision really quick where to send the evidence we have. There are not many options. You do know this is complex. Many conflicts of interest from the White House to the Attorney General. I can go on. And he's absolutely right, because this right now really kind of needs to be taken up in the state of Arizona, not so much in the federal government. You're not going to get Eric Holder to do anything of any substance that's going to give you any sort of justice. He's not there to promote justice, even though that's the Attorney General's job. His track record is nothing but corruption. And
This is the same guy that somebody just released a video of him back in the 90s. I think it was 1995,
yeah,
saying they have to brainwash people against guns.
Yeah, of course. That's the modus operandi of this gentleman. And I hate to call him a gentleman. He's really a dirtbag piece of poo. But that's just my feelings. But this has to be sent to every state in the union, and then, and only then, will you have the ammunition to remove him from the ballot. That's the only way that this is going to happen. That's the only way that Sheriff Arpaio is going to get any justice. And may I make a small suggestion, Sheriff, that in the future, when you call a press conference, that you rely on the alternative media, the media that cares deeply about what's going on in this country and
Here,
wants
here,
to find the truth.
here, here. Amen.
Because you're not going to get it out of the mainstream media. You're playing a very, very small violin that we just don't hear. I'm sorry. Does it suck? Yeah, but we've been through this song and dance now for years, and we know how they operate. So the best thing to do is throw your weight and your credentials behind the alternative media, band together, and maybe we can have some justice in this country.
But let me throw some piss in the cornflakes here, real quick. Just and hear me out on this because it's kind of an interesting thought. When you think about all the effort that's been put into trying to prove whether this guy is, a naturalized citizen, or if he's an immigrant or whatever, you think about all the effort that's been put into, Obama's birth certificate, and think about where it might have better gone, 9/11, or any of the stuff with the wars, or any of the stuff with NDAA, or any of these things that are going on now. But it's a tremendous amount of effort, and I guess I just wonder where it's going, because the fact that he was supposedly a known CIA agent before, and these guys prop him up and they put him in there and they put the documents in. I just think, oh, were they that stupid? Were they really that stupid that they couldn't dummy up a document? Because that's kind of what they do. I mean, that's their forte. I can't see them having that bad of a
Mucking it up.
problem with
I
the
know,
document. But
exactly.
here's where I'm going. I can't see them having a problem with the document unless they wanted to have a problem with the document. And this is just another one of those just smoke screens that people get caught up with, because I don't know if they're ever going to do anything with it. I don't know if it's ever going to go anywhere. It's it just seems like, wow, I don't know, a lot of wasted energy right now at this point to me. I mean, I
No,
agree.
I agree.
He's got to have, a legitimate birth certificate. But again, look at what's become of it. The whole
Right.
thing. And I don't know. I just don't
And
know
then,
if the
well,
whole
here,
thing
let's
was
take it a
set
step
up to be a distraction, is what I'm saying.
take it a step further than that. Okay, so let's just say the states go ahead, they band together, and they get him off the ballot. Okay, so who do you get then from the Democratic Party?
You're
Hillary?
stuck with Biden.
Biden? I mean, so say
Woo-hoo.
that happens. Say that happens, okay? Your alternative to that is what? Romney? Santorum? I mean, do you see what's happening? It happened in 2008, it happened in 2004, it happened in 2000, and it's going to happen unless we put a stop to it, that you're going to have a poo sandwich or a poo sandwich. Take your pick. That's the menu today, fellas. Poo. No matter who you vote for, no matter, first of all, uh, whoever you vote for is not going to be the person that you want, and everything that they say, they're not going to do. I wasn't it Obama that said, I won't put a single lobbyist in my cabinet. And then he
Yeah.
put a lobbyist in every position in his cabinet. It's awful. It's a sad state of affairs. But folks, this is one of the reasons why you have to pay attention and don't be afraid to speak your mind and to speak out. The best place to hide at this point is in the open. So get out there and make a stink about all this, about the executive orders. Do it. Make people, inform them. People are becoming more and more receptive by the day.
Well said, Joe. Everybody needs to step up to the plate and get involved in this. They need to realize that we all have a stake in this game, and this affects every single last one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to tonight's podcast. You can hear previous editions of the Intel Hub News Brief over at theintelhub.com. You can check out my website out over at federaljack.com, and you can hear me and Joe both over at the Orion Talk Radio Network, oriontalkradio.com, myself Wednesdays and Fridays, 10 p.m. to midnight, and Sundays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Joe, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 p.m. to midnight, and Sundays, 7 to 9, following my show. All Eastern Standard Time over on the Orion Talk Radio Network, oriontalkradio.com. Thank you again for listening, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, make sure you support the alternative media in whatever way, shape, or form you can, because we are the only source that you are getting any true information from. The mainstream media is failing miserably. So support your favorite alternative media outlet to help them continue to thrive. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.